I just wanted to give you a how-to today on how to do source citations in documents. That was one of the questions that somebody asked me, and I wanted to do a really good job of responding to it because it's so important. Do you need to cite your sources in documents that you create for your family? Yes. Even though your family may believe you and may think that you know everything, which you might. Nobody else will believe you unless they see some citations. So let's talk a little bit about what a source citation is and why you want to put it in your document and how to put it in your document, okay? I'm going to do it while I'm taking a walk because it's getting hotter here in California, and where I live at least. And I love this pathway because there's tons of eucalyptus trees. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Lining the pathway so it's always in shade and it's beautiful and I love it. So a source citation is really the information on where you obtained your source. So that means, like, if you have a death certificate in your possession, you note that it's a death certificate from whatever county and state and it's in your possession. Maybe it's a newspaper article from newspapers.com. Then you can put that information in there as well. So you want to do that. You want to put that kind of information in your documents. Why do you want to put it in your documents? Because if you don't, then people aren't going to believe it. I can't tell you how often I come across information and I generally disregard it unless I can see where they got some of their information. Or if the book was really old and the information came from people that lived much closer to the time of the source that I'm looking at. So those are some of the things that I think are really important. Now, how do you put a source citation into a document that you're creating? Well, it really depends on the document that you're creating. If you are doing a professional document for one of the genealogical newspapers, they have specific ways that they want you to list your source citations. And they differ. There's no industry standard. So I can't tell you, do it this way, because it doesn't work that way. So what may work in one professional document, one genealogical society document like National Genealogical Society, is going to be a little bit different on somebody else's. So if we're talking about your own publication, if you're talking about a book that you're creating or some kind of a handout or something like that, it's all you. It's a matter of what do you want to put in there. But my recommendation is put something in there, okay? So you want to put the information that you got the source from. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what some of the better ways to do it. Really, again, it's yours. So whatever you think is best. But you really have two major options. One, you can either put the sources directly below the information that you're writing about, which gives you less room for text, and then you end up having sources below. Some people prefer that because then it's easy to look down and see where your information came from, which can be really helpful. Some people don't want it cluttered like that, and they want their source citations at the end as an end note on, like, if you're using a Word program or Google Docs or whatever, you either have a footnote, which is at the bottom of the page, or you have an end note where it takes all of the source citations and puts them at the end. Now, let's say you have a paragraph and you have a ton of citations because there's a bunch of information in the paragraph. There's a couple of different ways you can do that too. You can put a little footnote or endnote by each one of those points, but that can get kind of muddy. So sometimes what works best for me is I'll put the citations at the end of the paragraph and then I'll have multiple citations, or at the end of the sentence. So I want you to do things in the way that works for you and for the document that you're creating. So whether or not you put them right underneath the material that you have as a footnote or as an endnote, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you do it, okay? Because it will lend your documents more credence. And in addition, it will help people find the information if they want more information about whatever it is that you're talking about in your document. Okay, then that moves us into source citations. Like, how do you write a source citation? I've done a video on the importance of citing your sources. I'm going to put a link to that above right now. That talks a little bit about different ways that you can do your source citations and how important it is to do them. My recommendation to you, and again, there's no industry standard, and different people require different things to be written in different ways. So that's not very helpful, right? I can't tell you, you need to do it like this. But the thing that I would say is that whatever you put in your source citation, you want to make sure that the information in there will allow somebody to find it again. If they can't find it again, then it's not a good citation. So the important things that you want to put in there are the kind of who, what, when, where, why, how, right? Like who created the document, the specifics of the document, you know, what page it's on, blah, 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 blah. And then the really important thing is what repository where you found the information. And so you want to make sure you note if you got it on Ancestry, or if you got it on FamilySearch, or if you got it on the county website or whatever. You want to put that information in there. And I'm telling you that when you do that, you're going to be really happy, because you're going to have a very professional looking document, and your future generations are going to be able to find the information that you obtained. It may lead them to further discoveries, and it's just a better system overall. So I hope you've enjoyed this walk today with me on this little old horse trail that I never see horses on anymore, but I love it. So have a great day, and I hope this helps.